Hello and welcome to ONTV Fantasy Football. I am the commish, Joe Johnson, and also the owner of the Hollywood Blockbusters. And I am joined here today by Ian Witherspoon and Anthony Taormina, owner of, respectively, Team Witherspoon, the creatively named Team Witherspoon. And let me make sure I get this right. You are the owner of King Kaloje Ant.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, I applaud you.
What we are going to do, we just wrapped up week 2 in the NFL and in fantasy football. We're going to look back at week 2 and the results in our league, and then after the break, we're going to take a look at week 3. So let's jump right into the scoreboard, if you guys don't mind. We're going to go to the first game. My team, the Hollywood Blockbusters, versus Phoenix Flaming King.
I think that team's going to be renamed.
The Phoenix Flaming, they're flaming something.
Sackville Middle School, I hear, is a new team name.
Oh, that's
all right.
harsh.
The Hollywood Blockbusters, we got our first win in week 2 by defeating the Flaming Kings. My stud of the game, I'm going to go with Melvin Gordon, who's been. It's hard for me to describe him as a pleasant surprise because I was kind of expecting him to do well, but in 2 weeks he's scored a total of 3 touchdowns. And in week 2, he had 102 yards and a TD to produce 17 points. And what's kind of embarrassing to admit, you see the score here, 79-61. I actually had the second lowest point total in the league, but won somehow.
You just got lucky with the matchup.
Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good in fantasy football.
Did you notice on the brothers thing, he only had one guy in double figures?
Yeah, we're going to look at that in a second. Yeah. First, let's talk about my duds of the game. And it's kind of hard to call him a dud because he got injured, but Doug Martin got hurt early in the game, only produced 2 points, and might miss some time. I hear it's not very serious, but people are talking about picking up maybe Sims, his backup, to get the start. So Doug Martin's going to find his way on my bench. Doug Baldwin also incurred an injury over the weekend. Only produced 2 points. So those guys are going to go to injured reserve on my bench for a little while, and I'm going to kind of monitor their progress.
Both their teams were, shall we say, awful in week 2.
Yes. Yeah, they. Who would have thought that Seattle would have been held to 3 points against the LA Rams? Mm-hmm. I do have the LA Rams defense in 2 of my other leagues, and I may pick them up in this league. I was confident they had a decent defense, but I never expected them to hold the Seahawks at 3 points.
Well,
That's
Russell
crazy.
Wilson, I think, is hurt.
Yeah,
that's
true.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
A little more hurt than he's leading on, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, it's the Catman's right. He's hurt.
All right, and let's talk about bench players. On the bench, I have Corey Coleman, rookie wide receiver for the Cleveland Browns. He produced 22 points. I'm going to move him into my starting lineup, even though there are some quarterback concerns over in Cleveland.
The ball.
They got their 3rd string quarterback coming in, but Corey Coleman looks like he might have some talent.
Yep.
So we'll see. Over on the other side of the ball, the Flaming Kings, their stud of the game was Derek Carr of the Oakland Raiders, who put up 33 points on 299 yards, 1 yard shy of 300, and
1 point.
3 touchdowns. 3 touchdowns. How do you lose with that kind of production from your quarterback? He accounted for more than half the points of the Phoenix Flaming Kings.
This is insanity.
A lot of single digits there after the 33.
Multiple ones, multiple threes.
Now his dud of the game.
Who is he playing?
Gosh, where do you pick? Peterson. If you watch the game at night,
he did get hurt.
He did leave injured, but before that, he wasn't doing anything. Mm-mm. He was really struggling before.
Didn't do anything in week 1 either.
Yeah. So the diagnosis is a torn meniscus. They say it's not going to be long term. He might miss a little bit of time, but he only produced 1 point before leaving the game. And Golden Tate. What happened to Golden Tate on the field? There's no injuries.
Couldn't catch the ball.
Yeah. A lot of drops in the Lions game. I was there at Ford Field watching this disaster unfold.
Siren.
And wow, they dropped a lot of passes and should have won that game, but very unfortunate.
How many times they said that?
On his bench, he has Roethlisberger on his bench, but he was actually outscored by Carr.
Can you play him as a flex?
What's that?
Can you play Roethlisberger as a
He
flex?
wishes. Actually, his probably the biggest point producer on the bench was his Texans defense against Kansas City, which kind of surprises me a little bit. 16 points on the bench, which would have been the difference between a win and a loss.
He still would have lost, yeah. He still would have lost.
With 16, it depends.
He only would have had 13 more.
Defense, 13 more points, and he lost by what?
18.
Oh, was it that much?
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, it wouldn't have made that much of a difference. I improved a one-on-one. Flaming Pile of King falls to 0-2.
Well, I do expect the Phoenix Flaming King to bounce back. I mean,
How?
All right.
They don't have anybody.
I do expect them to bounce back. The owner of the league is very creative. He's a creative genius. He'll figure it out.
Who's
All right,
their
we're gonna
running
make
backs? They're
we're gonna
terrible.
make predictions after the break. Let's jump on to game 2 here. The Undeflated. Joe Velez came up with a team name, the Undeflated. Sounds like
What a joke.
Mafia movie.
What a
and,
joke.
Valhalla the Thrashers.
Another joke.
Undeflated, it improves to 2-0. Valhalla falls to 1-1 after winning last week, defeating me last week. So, Undeflated stud of the game was, surprisingly, the Lions quarterback, Matt Stafford, who produced 19 points. He had 260 yards passing, multiple TDs, but only one counted, and a nasty interception at the very end of the game, which killed any hopes of a comeback drive to win the game. Very disappointing. And so that's his stud of the game. His dud was Lions running back Abdullah, who did he leave the game injured? Or?
He did.
He did.
Yeah. So he only produced 3 points before.
I'm surprised
he had
it's
a
not Eddie
touchdown called
Lacy
back.
either. I'm surprised that, his dud was not Eddie Lacy because you expect Eddie Lacy to produce, and he's not. And the fact that he only got 5 points on there, that's I mean, I would argue that that'd be more of a dud than Abdullah.
Yeah, and the Packers lost to the Minnesota Vikings with their quarterback, who's only had the playbook for a couple of weeks. So
Right.
that was a pretty embarrassing loss for the Packers. On Undeflated's bench, on a bunch of goose eggs on his bench. I think he's kind of hoarding players that he's banking on later. You see Tom Brady on
He's
his bench,
desperate.
waiting to get the start. Demaryius Thomas on his bench produced 11 points. That's an improvement over last week. On the other side of the ball, Valhalla's stud of the game was it D'Angelo Williams? Yeah, D'Angelo Williams with 18 points. He's had 2 back-to-back impressive games. He had 32 carries. 32 carries for 94 yards and a receiving touchdown. Man, he might be leading all backs when this season wraps up.
Well, you got Le'Veon Bell coming back.
Yeah,
Take
that's
over.
true, but Bell's going to have to battle Williams for that starting position. Williams has been playing really, really good.
Pittsburgh's offense,
Right.
I mean, just
Yeah.
looks real good in general.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, a little bit later, I'm going to talk more about Pittsburgh in a little bit.
Do we have to?
And let's
You
see.
like Pittsburgh?
No.
His dud of the game, gosh, you could pick just about anyone. Langford, who produced 5 points in the Monday night game, had a crucial fumble late in the game. You could call him the dud of the game. Or the Raiders defense producing -1 points against Atlanta in a loss, 28-35 loss to Atlanta.
Yep.
That's brutal when you get negative points from your defense. On his bench, he had Carson Palmer, who put up 33 points. He had, 3 touchdowns Palmer did on the bench, and produced a ton of points, which might have been the difference in that particular game.
That would have won him the
They
game.
might have won him the game.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, let's move on to the next game. We have Team Irish Brogues versus King Cologne's Ants.
Got the JV squad.
Ant handed the Brogues his first loss, so the Brogues are 1-1, and Ant is 1-1. The Brogues' stud of the game was the Broncos defense. Holy moly, did they look great against the Colts. producing 23 points, scoring 2 touchdowns. Wow. That pretty much was the highlight of his roster, man. What an impressive performance by his team defense. And then his dud of the game, I don't know, I'm going to go with Thomas Rawls. Again, there's a big Q by his name. Did he get hurt in the game, too?
He did.
He did,
Yeah.
yes.
Yikes, producing 1 point. Everyone's talking about Christian Michaels probably stealing that starting role away from Rawls. Do you see that happening?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I would say
I
it's
don't even
very
know who
likely.
Christian Michaels is.
Yeah,
It's very likely.
He's the backup, but he's been outplaying Rawls.
Yeah, Rawls is terrible in that game.
On his bench, Dallas quarterback Dak Prescott scored 20 points. Marvin Jones produced for the Lions, producing 11 points on the bench. Over on the other side of the ball, your stud of the game was Kirk Cousins, despite some unrest over there in
Yes,
Washington.
there's some turmoil
and
in Washington right now.
a
Yes.
loss to Dallas, but he
There's
produced
always
23
turmoil there.
points.
Captain Kirk.
Cousins threw
Who's
for
that?
364 yards. That's pretty impressive. 1 touchdown, 1 interception.
Yes.
So that's some pretty decent points. Your dud of the game, and I kind of heckled you a little bit on draft day, T.Y. Hilton produced 4 points, and I think Indy has some concerns there. Luck had a big week 1, but he played kind of
The
like I expected him to in
Lions.
week 2. Yeah, I'm not a Luck fan. I used to be a couple of seasons ago. I had him on my roster a couple seasons ago, but I don't know. Colts
Got to be an
look
injury
bad.
there or something.
Yeah,
You know?
something's not right.
Because he's good.
But 2 seasons in a row, though, if he continues to play like this, we'll see.
We'll make some adjustments. I'm not too terribly concerned.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of grief here.
Oh, boy.
Stephon Diggs on the bench, man. Minnesota wide receiver. He's looking like a breakout star in the NFL. Had a monster game over the weekend. 9 catches for 182, a $182 and a touchdown. He was all over the place. Is he going to find his way into your starting lineup?
Yeah, he will.
Thank you.
You can
Knucklehead had
trust me.
C.J. Anderson on the bench the week before that.
Well, zip it, kitty cat. You don't know anything. You don't know nothing. You don't
I know, I
deserve
won
to be
that
2-0.
game.
But anyways, we will make the proper adjustments. There is a reason why my team name is called King Kaloje Ant.
It's a collaboration, right?
We will make the proper adjustments, and I have complete, utmost confidence that we will bounce back, and we will take the West Division Championship.
Oh, look at him making predictions. All right.
will.
And the final game, we have Team Witherspoon versus
varsity squad.
Smoke on the Atwater.
That's a JV.
Team
That's a
Witherspoon,
JV. What a
whose
JV
first
team.
pick in the draft was an auto draft. He ended
Yeah,
up
an
with Julio
auto draft.
Jones.
Oops.
Somehow, Witherspoon is leading the entire league in points.
Unacceptable.
One of 2 teams that is 2-0. What gives? What's the deal?
I just got to thank my squad. Really appreciate you guys out there working
No.
hard, putting up points.
No.
Just blessed.
You
Just
had
really blessed.
your squad had some nice points spread out all over the place. Your stud of the game was your Cardinals defense. Holy moly! They produced 27 points, allowed only 7 points. Get this: had 4 INTs, 1 fumble recovery, and a touchdown. Holy moly!
Thank you,
That's
Jameis.
another defensive impressive performance. Drew Brees, he had 19 for you.
Didn't really do so well. in that
Well,
game.
here's something that's shocking. 1 year ago, last season, when the Saints and the Giants faced each other, the 2 quarterbacks, Brees and Manning, combined for 13 touchdowns in that game.
It was insane.
This past weekend, they produced 1 offensive touchdown that belonged to Brees. Manning had 0 touchdowns, and he's my quarterback. And the only touchdown that the Giants produced was a special teams touchdown. So
And they
what a
won the
difference a
game.
year makes.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Now, on your bench, I'm going to
Yeah.
give you a little bit of grief, but I kind of understand where you were coming with. On your bench, Julio Jones was your number 1 draft pick. Not that you deliberately picked him.
He loved them.
He
He
produced
loved them.
16 points. He had, what did he have? 5 catches for 106 yards and a touchdown. What is your logic for benching Julio Jones?
He was questionable, and I wasn't able to look at it late Sunday before the game started, so I just made the executive decision. I thought, hey, Tavon Austin, home opener in L.A. Wait, was it the home opener?
Yes, it was.
Yeah,
it
it
was
was
home
home
opener in LA, yep.
I just like him. I think he's fast. I think he's good.
I like Austin, too.
And I thought, I don't want to take any chances with Julio sitting down.
Yeah.
If I don't hear about it, I don't have time to move him to the bench. So
Well, you lucked out, and despite the fact that he sat on the bench, you still managed a win. So can't complain there. And that's 16 points that you kept away from everybody else in the league.
full team effort right there.
On the other side of the ball, oh my God, Cam Newton, who probably had the best performance of the entire weekend. For Smoke on the Atwater, Newton produced 38 points on 353 yards, 4 touchdowns. Holy moly. Impressive performance. How do you lose that game
I don't know.
in fantasy football?
Randall Cobb didn't do a thing for John. Thank you, Randall. Appreciate it, everybody.
Yeah, he had 4 points. And then, of course, he was a victim of Danny Woodhead's injury. Probably the most serious, not probably, definitely the most serious injury of the weekend. He is done for the season. Danny Woodhead is done for the season.
It's unfortunate, too.
Yeah. Now, that benefits the other running backs on that team. I happen to have Melvin Gordon, who's going to benefit from Danny Woodhead's absence. And they're going to bring in, who are they bringing in to?
Dexter McCluster.
McCluster to get some playing time in the void created by Danny Woodhead's season-ending injury. On the bench, he left some points on the bench a little bit. Ryan Matthews, who played on Monday night, produced 15 points, had 2 touchdowns. He made the most of the few chances that he was given. And then Delaney Walker shined against the Lions, 14 points. And he was one of the reasons why the Titans did what they did at Ford Field. All right, we're going to take.
Ian should owe a lot of thank yous to John. That's the truth.
Well, we'll see. We're going to take a break right now, and when we come back, we're going to look ahead to Week 3, make some bold predictions, and look at some NFL matchups and things like that. So stay tuned. We'll be right back after this.
Every day, 2,500 teenagers nationwide use a prescription drug to get high for the first time.
Accessing these drugs is as easy as opening a cupboard, drawer, or medicine cabinet in any home, including your own.
You can do your part to prevent prescription drug misuse
by monitoring your prescription drugs
and properly disposing of expired or unneeded medications.
In Oakland County, prescription drug misuse is real.
It's growing and it's dangerous. Do your part.
Visit doyourpart.info to learn more.
Hello, welcome back to ONTV Fantasy Football. I'm Joe Johnson. We're going to look ahead to Week 3. If we go to the computer screen, my Hollywood Blockbusters go up against Joe Velez's Undeflated, the 2-0 team. I'm hoping to knock them down a peg. Valhalla the Thrashers face Phoenix Flaming King.
Easy
Valhalla's
win for
1-1.
Ian Locke.
What's
Don't get your hopes up.
Hold on, you're
Don't
jumping
get
ahead.
your hopes up.
And King Cloje Ant is facing Smoke on the Atwater. John Atwater's hoping to get his first win. And
That
finally,
won't happen.
Team Witherspoon, who is 2-0, is taking on Team Irish Brogues.
Go
who are
McCormick,
1-1.
get it done.
That might be the game of the week. We're going to see how that goes. Now, looking ahead to Week 3, the matchups for Week 3. I'm going to bring up the NFL.com site here. But before we do that, I wrote down the 6 worst defenses giving up the most fantasy football points after 2 weeks in the season. At number 26, the Cleveland Browns. Number 27, Washington Redskins. Number 28, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 29, San Diego Chargers. 30, Atlanta Falcons. 31, our Detroit Lions. And at 32, dead last in the league, giving up the most points in fantasy football, the Oakland Raiders. Now, if we move on and break it down by points given up to players, individual players, when it comes to quarterbacks, Oakland Raiders are still dead last. They are facing the Tennessee Titans in Week 3. What are you seeing for Marcus Mariota and Delaney Walker and those guys?
I got to imagine winning at Ford Field was a confidence builder for Mariota, especially winning the game late. Are they at Oakland or are they in Nashville?
They are in Nashville.
Oh, that's going to help him, too.
Yeah.
That's going to really help him. But Ian said it right. It's about, this is a great confidence builder game. Oakland also has to do that travel. That travel can be very, very challenging, especially when you go on the road.
It's hard east to
a
west.
different, especially to a different time, different time zone. And, I think, this has got to be, our good friend, you and my good friend Troy Andrews, got to be loving to see the big Titans fans. So, I would say that Tennessee's got a lot of confidence going into Week 3.
All right. Now, the LA Rams, I don't believe, have scored an offensive touchdown yet. I might be mistaken, but I don't know if they've scored an offensive touchdown.
They have not.
They are facing the 31st ranked, against quarterbacks, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Is it time for the Rams to put some points on the board against that Buccaneers defense?
When you say points, do you mean will they score an offensive touchdown?
Yes.
I think they will. I don't think they'll win that game because that's another east to west, LA to Florida. That's tough. It's always tough cross country.
The reason I beg to differ, look at what the Rams did to Seattle.
True.
And
True.
what's the name? Buccaneers quarterback.
Jameis
Winston had a terrible, terrible week in week 2. 4 interceptions, I believe.
Right.
The Rams are going to make his life miserable this weekend. So I'm going to pick the Rams in that, and I'm expecting some offensive production. And I'm hoping my guy, Todd Gurley, who's been a bit of a disappointment through 2 weeks, I think he's going to get his first touchdown of the 2016 season.
It's kind of sad that Rams team is a bit of a joke.
You know what? I agree with Ian right there. I agree that that Rams team is kind of a joke. But also,
Keenum?
You got you got the travel as well. I mean, it's going to be very, very tough for the Rams to obviously having to travel to Tampa, and I gotta go. I gotta agree with Ian. I gotta go with Tampa Bay.
And I think Jameis is going to bounce back. I think he's a really good quarterback.
All right, we'll see. The 30th ranked team against quarterbacks is our beloved Detroit Lions, who are traveling to Green Bay to take on the Packers and Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Rodgers has been underperforming the first 2 weeks. Is this his bounce back game?
Lambeau, home opener, Detroit Lions. Good night.
Jordy Nelson.
Quiet flight home for the Motor City Kitties.
You know, I mean, Rodgers is due for a bounce-back game. He has had tremendous success against the Lions, especially at Lambeau. And, I mean, it's going to be very, very challenging for the Lions to go into Lambeau and get it done again, especially after last year.
Last year they went in there and won, but
they don't have the pieces to do it again.
Yeah, and that Hail Mary last year that Rodgers threw up to defeat the Lions, that was just god-awful, and I don't think it's going to come down to a Hail Mary
not here.
this weekend.
I would love for Stafford to throw one, just to let those cheeseheads know how it is for once.
He did last year.
And the 29th ranked defense against quarterbacks are the Atlanta Falcons, and they are playing, let me see if I can find them on my list here. Where are they?
Oh, they're Monday night.
Is it Monday night? Oh, there they are. Oh, man, is that going to be a shootout or what? The Falcons are against the Saints on Monday Night Football in New Orleans. That is going to be one entertaining ball game. Julio Jones should be good to go, I think.
I already put him in my starting lineup.
Yeah, that is going to be a fun game, and I'm expecting a shootout. I expected a shootout between the Saints and the Giants this past weekend, and it was anything but. But do you see a shootout with the Falcons traveling to New Orleans?
It's the only way Saints can win games. Their defense is not good, and division rival, Atlanta Falcons on a Monday night. Place is going to be geeked up. Drew Breezy's going to be geeked up. It's got to be a shootout.
Yeah.
Well, New Orleans does a lot better at home than they do on the road.
True.
They do. That's always been New Orleans' game plan, is that they've always done better. It'll be very interesting to see how Atlanta matches up with them going into New Orleans. But, yeah, New Orleans has always done better at home.
Another possible high-scoring game, ranked number 31st against running backs. We have the San Diego Chargers traveling to Indianapolis to take on the Colts, whose defense just seems to be in shambles right now. What do you see happening in that game?
Well, the Colts don't really have much of a running game.
No.
Frank Gore, you can't really trust him. So
they're going to have to air it out.
2 weeks, it's kind of hard to say. It's kind of hard to put these rankings into perspective. I think the rankings will balance out a little for San Diego there. I think they'll be able to stop the run better than they have the first 2 games.
I think that it's a very dangerous matchup, but, I mean, Indianapolis' defense has been shattered.
Yeah.
I mean, injuries. You've got Indianapolis got to fix their defense or else they're going to be in trouble.
Indianapolis actually ranks dead last against running backs. So, yeah.
Good day for Melvin Gordon.
Let's hope. And ranking 29th against running backs is the Washington Redskins, who are traveling to New York to take on the G-Men. I'm
They're your
excited
boys,
about
aren't you?
this game.
They're your boys, aren't you?
Yeah, I got Eli Manning. I have Odell Beckham. I have Sterling Shepard on my bench because I'm hesitant to play both receivers at the same time. But Sterling Shepard's actually been outperforming Odell Beckham. Odell Beckham does not have a touchdown into Week 3, which shocks the heck out of me. And Sterling Shepard and Victor Cruz have been playing pretty well. They're outplaying Beckham. Is this Beckham's chance to turn it around?
I'll say, maybe it's because they're focusing more on Beckham.
Yeah.
Probably, than it's giving Sharp those opportunities.
I think with the Redskins having Josh Norman at cornerback, I know Beckham likes that matchup. So I think this will be a day where Beckham's going to want to turn it on and finally score.
All right. I'm going to make a bold prediction here, and I'm curious. I want each of you to make your prediction. Hopefully you've had time to think about this. I went on record on Facebook after watching all the Week 2 games played out, and I made my Super Bowl prediction. My Super Bowl prediction.
Drum roll, please.
New York Giants.
What?
Versus the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Okay, I can see that one.
In the Super Bowl, and I'm calling the Giants victorious. Now, the reason I'm calling it, the Giants defense and special teams look spectacular this week, and they actually look pretty decent throughout the first 2 weeks of the season. And Eli Manning, I think, has the best trio of wide receivers on the field. Those receivers, Odell Beckham, Victor Cruz, and Sterling Shepard, are 3 impressive talents. I think Eli has so many weapons that if their defense, like they did the past 2 weeks, keeps them in the game, they're going to find ways to win the games. So Steelers versus Giants Super Bowl, your thoughts? Have you thought about it? Who's going to make it to the big game?
Well, we can cross the Lions off the list. I haven't really put too much thought in it because I feel like this year it's there's more parity. There's a little more. It's a little more competitive.
Well, the teams that look good look very good, and the teams that look bad look god awful. So
They do.
that kind of cuts that list in half a little bit.
They do, but there's surprising teams like Seattle not looking too hot. You know, they might not make it to 500. Who knows? Then you got teams like the Philadelphia Eagles, who were bad last year, but Carson Wentz proving to be pretty good, albeit you played the Browns and you played the Bears.
Right.
But that, and then, the Washington Redskins, we talked about them earlier. Kirk Cousins making a lot of money this year, playing for that new deal. But there's unrest.
You need defense to win games, and Washington is ranked 27th in fantasy football.
And you would think with the addition of Josh Norman, that would turn around a little
Isn't
bit.
he making a lot of money, ridiculous money?
Who's that?
Norman?
Norman? Yeah, he's got a big deal, I
Ridiculous.
believe. So I don't know. The NFC is interesting to me. The AFC, another NFC team, Cardinals. Are they ever going to get it together in the playoffs?
Oh,
They're due.
man.
Are they ever going to get it together in the playoffs?
What about the Broncos? You think they'll repeat?
AFC?
I think Tommy Brady, when he gets back, I think I can see an AFC championship with Pittsburgh and New England.
All right. We're just about out of time. Ant, Super Bowl predictions?
I think it's still too early to tell.
All right. Well, we'll bring you back on a future episode of ONTV Fantasy Football, so put some thought into your Super Bowl predictions. Thanks for joining me here today, guys. I hope you had fun.
Oh, yeah.
Good luck in Week 3. Make those roster adjustments. And we will be back next week live, Tuesday at 6:30 to recap Week 3, look ahead to Week 4. And stay tuned for Dragons football, Lake Orion versus Oxford, right after ONTV Fantasy Football. Thanks for watching. Good night.